We now return to medical wonders.
By January of 1996, Tony Stephan was at his wit's end. His wife had committed suicide after a decade-long battle with bipolar disorder. Then his daughter and son were diagnosed with the same disease. 15-year-old Joe was tormented, too, by suicidal thoughts.
I was always quite certain that I would never make it through, to next summer or to the beginning of school again, stuff like that. I was always expected, I kind of expected myself to be dead by then,
Then, Tony's friend David Hardy came up with a radical idea. Take Joe off his medication and instead give him a modified animal feed supplement used to calm pigs.
Sometimes you'll come into a barn like this and the pigs will be just extremely irritable and start biting their pen mate, sometimes even savaging them, taking chunks out of their hindquarters or whatnot.
David believed the pigs got violent because they were missing some essential nutrients in their feed. So he set out to create a nutrient supplement for the pigs.
We found that we could alter the trace minerals that were present in the feed, and that would usually solve the problem completely. And they would go back to being calm like these pigs are, basically.
It became commonplace to use nutrient supplements to keep penned pigs calm. But now David Hardy was proposing something quite different. A brilliantly simple idea. If adding essential minerals to pig feed worked to calm irritable and violent hogs, would the same approach work in mentally ill people?
There was a feeling of excitement that came with it. It was like all of a sudden opening up a book and seeing the answer that you've been looking for months and months and months. And the feeling that came with it was just, hey, we've got to do this.
They would create a human version of the supplement, and Tony's son Joseph would be their guinea pig. Joe's new stepmother was horrified by the idea.
Well, she was very, very afraid, and she said, look, we've got to refill this prescription. And I said, honey, we've got to try this without it. We know that the prescription, yeah, it kind of takes the edge off, but he'll never be normal. And so we've got to go, for broke here. Let's do this thing the whole way.
David and Tony set up their makeshift lab in Tony's kitchen. They blended store-bought vitamins and minerals, such as calcium, amino acids, and antioxidants, trying to mimic the pig feed formula.
We started out just with the concept that many different elements, as broad a spectrum as you can provide, so that the body's getting everything it needs and that there's no deficiencies. We wanted to provide something very complete in that way. And we got it by combining 4 different products.
Getting out and everything. Lots of snow. It was very, very stressful. No question. And there was so much hope that this would work, that this would finally be the answer. Yeah, aren't you?
David studied Joe's weight and nutritional intake and concocted a dose. Capsules of vitamins and a mineral formula that he hoped would mirror the pig nutrient. And then they presented the revised supplement to Joe.
Well, I don't think he related it like that. This is pig feed we're going to give you here. But I was quite excited by the idea of something new. Maybe something would make me feel better. And I was willing to take a chance with that.
On January 18th, 1996, Joseph took his first daily dose of the re-engineered pig feed supplement, 6 capsules and 6 ounces of a liquid mineral mixture. 4 days later, Joe's lithium ran out. Over the next month, David dropped the liquid dose down to 4 ounces, then 2. Even after 5 days on the supplement, Joe felt better.
Once that stuff started to kick in, it's just like the fog lifted. And I could see what was right and wrong and how I should be acting.
All of a sudden he became gentle. His demeanor changed. No longer was he thinking erratically. He was starting to think positive about his life.
Joseph's delusions and depression disappeared. But meanwhile, his sister Autumn's emotional state was growing worse.
She, like her mother, had become extremely suicidal and had been hospitalized for suicidal tendencies and was on suicide watch and was on a major load of psychotropic medications.
For me, it took on a form of confusion, first of all, and just sort of scatterbrain behavior. By the end of grade 12, I couldn't tell time on a conventional clock.
Like other bipolar patients, Autumn became paranoid, delusional, and violent.
Every morning when my husband would leave, I would start in with this real fear, like kind of a panic thing. I'd hear him lock the door, and you know how you put a key in a lock and it goes click, click. But I'd lay there and I'd think, he pretended to lock the door, and now he's, unlocking it so that the killers can come in. And I met him in the hallway and got really, really violent with him. I thought I was demonic. Like, I would be really afraid of reflective glass and mirrors and things. And if I saw my reflection, I would see these faces floating around me, and it was just really terrifying.
And the timing couldn't have been worse. Autumn slipped into a period of extreme paranoia. Just after the birth of her first child, James, her thoughts terrified her family.
I thought I needed to kill the baby. I obsessed about ways to kill myself or to kill the baby. I didn't recognize what I was doing or thinking as really odd. It just seemed logical to me.
Doctors tried a regimen of medications that cost almost $200 a month, but nothing controlled her slide.
Haldol, Rivotril, Ativan, Epival, and then Cogentin was to counteract the Haldol, because Haldol makes you very stiff. You can't walk or bend. So it's like a rigid thing. Gosh, I mean, I wasn't even able to take care of myself at that point.
Autumn couldn't be left alone with her baby, so her husband suggested she move into her father's home.
And I remember how I just about wept when she walked through the back door, and she looked so bad. She was so drugged out. And trying to talk and trying to communicate with her was a chore.
Tony looked at Autumn and saw his late wife all over again. He urged Autumn, who had been sick for 6 years, to try the supplement too.
Don't worry, because Joe's off his meds and he's doing great. And we're going to get you down here, we'll get you all fixed up. And I just snapped. I was furious. I couldn't believe that he was rocking the boat. My psychiatrist, my specialist, had said, you rock the boat and you will die.
Oh, I said, look, you're going to do this. And I won't say that I forced her to do it, because it doesn't sound politically correct, but I constrained her to do it.
Not sure how they got it into me. I wasn't willingly the first couple doses, I'm sure. Even beyond that, I know he came home every day that week to make sure I was swallowing, and check my mouth to make sure I was taking it.
5 days later, the sound of the water running. Autumn had turned a corner.
There was always a paranoid thing with the shower. I'd have to have either doors open or sometimes shower with clothes on.
The delusions were disappearing. The constant voices in Autumn's head had disappeared too.
She said, Dad, I think we can do this. This is changing me. I feel better. I feel more energy. I feel like I can think. I can think through a thought, and I don't have those ugly, suicidal feelings on me all the time now,
Hey, do you want to come over and look at the album?
Sure.
They told me when I was on the Haldol and a number of other medications, maybe we'd want to consider having an operation so there wouldn't be any more risk of pregnancy, because the effects on a fetus would just be horrendous.
He was such an amp, wasn't he? Oh, yeah.
I'm just so glad I didn't take that advice. I've got 2 little girls now. It's kind of like starting over and getting a real life. It's been good.
I absolutely believe that it's the hand of God, that this is an answer to our prayers, absolutely. I think when I look at them today and I see that they have their existence, their life back, that they're whole, yeah, I believe that God answers our prayers. You bet.